All right, so part three of this eating disorder phenomenon that's going on in the fitness industry on social media. It's going to be the opposite of what I talked about before. It's going to be about not eating enough. So usually under eating, or if they are anorexic in any way, anorexic, bulimia, anorexia nervosa, whatever you want to be, whatever you are diagnosed with or misdiagnosed with, and possibly have this, then this is another issue that's creeping up very, very slowly. And I don't know what this, I think this is my window in the back, but anyways, there is a seemingly trending pattern of fitness enthusiasts and athletes and bodybuilders and physique personas that they keep uploading on social media their physique during a certain period of time. And they take hundreds of pictures, thousands of pictures, and they have different programs or analytics managers that will have days or weeks or months where they would automatically like post those pictures. So they have, you know, tons in their arsenal that they use, and then they systematically post them throughout the year, whether they look like that or not. So usually people look a certain way, very lean, show ready, in a very short period of time. It's very hard for someone to maintain the same aesthetic leanness that they would have on stage at a competition or at the peak moment of a needed photo shoot, depending on how they need it to look for that photo shoot. It's very hard. Also, there's a lot of digital imaging renders that they'll use, so like Photoshop and stuff like that. And it distorts the like the younger generation, like what they're looking at. They have this disordered persona that they're supposed to be, and so what ends up happening is they want to build muscle, you know, because these guys got muscles. So I can show you some examples as I talk and be on Instagram. But then they also want to, you know, be lean. And so in order to be lean, they also need to be in a caloric deficit. You know, that's just things that we know. So what happens, okay? There's a couple different things that happen. One, they seek out the bodybuilding diet, okay? Two, they seek out enhanced drugs. So any type of anabolic steroids, whether that be highly anabolic or highly androgenic, they're going to seek those out, and they're going to use them prematurely before even setting a foundation of diet and training and that pattern of healthy lifestyle, okay? So they're not going to put the years in. And then three, they're going to usually not eat enough to build that muscle, okay? So they're going to keep holding themselves back. And there is some changes as of recently, because this is obviously newer picture of Joe Statics is one of these persons on the social media. He is freaking crazy looking. He doesn't specify how long he's been in that period of time right there on the right, but his pictures, man, he definitely has to keep a body or physique up because he is like a model for Father and Sons clothing company. So like this clothing company right here. So this one, every dude is freaking shredded, I believe, and always fit. But again, keep in mind, they're doing these photos like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month. You can keep that physique for sure with some enhancements. You know, they just post them up throughout the year. But yeah, Joe Statics, Joe Linder, I think his name is. Joe Statics on Instagram. Yeah, Joe Linder. Freaking shredded specimen, right? So as Derek from Workplace Motivates to say, that is a specimen of a person. So you get this perception that, hey, I can stay looking like this all the time. Now, dude stays lean a lot. Now, what happens is when these kids start under eating, there's a risk that comes in because they're usually athletes. So they're probably playing some sort of sport in high school or middle school or college level. And they're not getting enough nutrition. Okay, so their micronutrients are not there. And so they think that now they can rely upon supplements. Supplements are there. Yeah, it's good absorption, but if you don't have the solid whole foods, your supplements aren't going to really be optimal, okay? It's supposed to push you past being average. So supplemental support helps to become optimal. And if you don't get those micronutrients in, you're going to be at risk for injury or at risk for aging, okay? And whether that be physiological, like with your body, or whether that be neurological, with your mind, okay? Also, whole foods are going to help with your gut flora, with your gut microbiome. I don't have any great results with just having probiotics or just having a greens formula if I have a crap diet. I won't. I've had that in the past, whether that be because of not eating too much or because of bulimia. So either way, you're destroying your bacteria. Now, and you're doing that to stay under a calorie range. You want to be in a calorie deficit because you want to stay lean. However, you're going to take these supplements, whey protein, creatine, vitamins, minerals, gut, probiotics, prebiotics, natural testosterone aids, pre-workout, anabolic steroids, androgenic steroids. You're going to try SARMs, peptides. You're going to try to use all these things, and your base nutrition isn't going to be there. Your gut microbiome is not going to be there. And if you take oral compounds, especially like a lot of these SARMs, your body's not going to be able to really absorb them too well and use them optimally. So this is why having a good diet and good nutrition habits is going to come into play. And it's not just for a month or 2 months. It's literally going to be, for years, man, for years. That gut dysbiosis, that changing of the gut bacteria can happen on a day-to-day basis based on whatever stress you have, whatever distress you have. Eustress, so that good kind of stress, it seems to actually be beneficial. But that distress, the stress that can raise cortisol levels at an unneeded time throughout the day, that's going to have an impact. So we even see this in studies and journals, okay? We see that even MyFitnessPal, where it's just supposed to help people track their calories, has even helped them maintain an eating disorder. Now, tracking your calories, tracking your macros, is that an eating disorder? No, that's just keeping yourself accountable. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're like, hey, what is like the minimum that I can get, and you are just so chronically like, I got to be 195 protein, I can't go over, and you take a scale with you to going out to eat, or you are afraid to eat something because it's make you going to go over that day-to-day calorie intake, that's a little crazy, okay? That's a little insane. Again, for the average person, not for a competitor who is getting on stage for bodybuilding or fitness competition, okay? Also, the eating disorders are linked to bad pathological weight control, which is, again, not having, going the yo-yo diet. It's also linked to different types of injuries, and they did a lot of these studies in women, but again, women get the bad connotation of that. Oh, it's usually women with eating disorders. No. Like, there's a lot of young men and men who have eating disorders. But it's kind of easy to pick out. It's kind of easy to observe and really see what's going on if you are monitoring them or observing them or have a relationship with them on a day-to-day basis. So, but throughout this whole Google Scholar search, I did eating disorders and fitness. You will see a plethora of different types of journals and studies confirming a lot of these psychological and physiological epidemic of epidemic patterns and situations that happen with athletes who undereat. And again, they're doing this because they're trying to maintain a physique that they believe is putting them at a sexual competitive advantage, kind of like Darwinism. So the strong survive. And that's kind of based on the same fact that people are attracted to sexuality, because that is the first thing that we see. So if our brains, which our eyeballs are part of our brains, it's the only piece of our brain that is outside, whenever that sees something that's visually attractive and sexually attractive, then that means that we can also extend our lineage, so we can procreate, right? So we can have babies. And that also keeps your bloodline and you're strengthening your family. So that's Darwinism, right? So that's kind of like the whole premise of this, okay? Do I, not to go on another tangent, but anyways, that's the premise. Anyways, the other risk besides just, let's say, muscle injuries, cardiovascular injuries, tendon, ligament injuries, you're also having like bone injuries, right? So there's going to be a lot of brittle bones. Your bone density isn't going to be there as much. You're not going to be able to lift heavy weight. If you lift heavy weights, you microfracture those bones, micro tear that muscle, and then you replenish it with minerals. It gets stronger and denser. And we see that in a lot of different bone scans and physiological body analysis studies, which is awesome. And so we need to make sure that we are actually eating in a caloric maintenance or surplus in a way that we are going to get a competitive advantage, not only in our sport that we're doing, but also things that are going to help us with our goals. And again, it's a slow ride. And so gaining muscle is a very slow ride. And you're going to take on a little bit of water, a little bit of body fat sometime as you try and figure things out. But that's the part of the fun and the longevity of it, is doing that type of kind of like self-experimenting. Okay, that's so I guess that's pretty much my thoughts of really what's going on, and it's very concerning, and it's going to get worse as social media continues to go on, because now you have the other extreme now of body positivity, of those who are obese or overweight, and they think that they're healthy because they can do 10 jumping jacks, or do a pull-up, but or their blood markers are fine for that one time that they actually really fast or something, and then they go and do a blood test. So I don't like seeing these younger kids try to become these ripped social media influencer like personas at such a young age, when there's such a potential to eat food, to train, and just you let your body naturally use its own hormones and own ability to create a healthy gut microbiome, to create healthy dense bones, and also help with that neurological connectivity and boost that mood and your self-worth value. And that's really what we're looking for. We want that boost of confidence, and that's the way it's going to come through. Yeah, man. So that's about it. Leaving it there. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and talk to y'all later.